chills down Lady Anne's spine. He looked down upon the stricken lady as though he was the rightful owner and she was a lowly servant. Okay, so after that incident, more than 20 years passed. The house was now owned by William and Anne's son, Thomas Connolly, and his wife, Lady Louisa. And we will continue this outcome after this short break. You are listening to Ghost Talk Radio on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
47 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio with me as your host, Shelly Robertson. If you just tuned in, folks, I invite you all to join us in chat at WBHM-DB.com, where you can ask me any question you may have or share any haunted St. Patrick Day stories of your own. If you missed the first part of the show, no worries. You can catch the full show archive on Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, and iHeartRadio at your leisure. So, prior to the break, we were talking about this house that was owned by the Connollys, right? We got to where the house was now owned by William and Anne's son, Thomas Connolly, and his wife, Lady Louisa. Now, Lady Louisa was the great-granddaughter of King Charles II of England. So as you can see, royalty have owned this house. They, too, had experienced the same man with the same laughter that Lady Anne had seen and heard 20 years prior. It seems as though this man had made another appearance after that as well. He came to their home dressed much like a hunter. And of course, Thomas and Lady Louisa, they were very hospitable people, and they allowed this strange man to rest in their home. When this man fell asleep for his nap, Thomas tried to get a closer look at him as he saw hair on the backs of his palms and tufts of hair coming out of his ears and shirt sleeves and Needless to say, this man was very hairy, okay? Now, so Thomas, of course, he called for a couple of his servants to come and remove the sleeping man's boots. And when they did, what they saw were some very skinny, hairy legs with hooves where the feet should be. So, of course, you can imagine everyone was scared, and Thomas called in a priest who performed a ceremony much like an exorcism, right? And actually, the man or creature you may want to call him was vanished because evidently the exorcism was successful, and this entity was never seen again. Now that is very interesting, huh? So sometimes you find where the entities come back forever, and this is where they was actually able to get rid of it. So far tonight, we have covered some of the history regarding St. Patrick's Day, as well as some of the hauntings that surround St. Patrick's Day. Now, let's talk a little bit about the legends and lore surrounding St. Patrick's Day. What I found interesting was this little story. There's a legend that said that St. Patrick, he carried a walking stick made from wood from the ash tree. Now, one day after visiting his parents' home in Britain, Patrick was taking the opportunity to preach to the people he'd met as he traveled back and forth to Ireland. Now, every time he stopped to preach, he would thrust his walking stick into the ground. Okay, like, bang it, whatever. Now, every time he stopped to preach, and he did this, there was a point where he just stuck it in the ground for a long period of time. And he was preaching for so long that this stick developed roots and it turned into a living tree, if you can believe that. The place where it happened became known as Espatria, meaning Ash of Patrick. It's thought Irish monks are the most likely source of this story. They were always keen to promote Patrick as a saint capable of producing miracles. So that is quite interesting, right? Now you've heard y'all have heard this expression. Why do people say this? Kiss me, I'm Irish. Do you all know why? Well, kissing someone who is Irish is pretty much the next best thing to kissing the stone in the Blarney Castle, which is likely where the famous saying comes from. According to legend, kissing the stone will give you the power of eloquent and persuasive speech. Two different stories relate kissing the stone with such luck. And this one, it goes back to the one story about it. It goes back to the 1440s, where the builder of the castle, his name was Cormac Ladair McCarthy. Now, he was in a lawsuit and he needed some extra luck, and he sought out the goddess of love and beauty, and she told him to kiss a stone on his way to court. He did, and he won his case. Later, he took that same stone and installed it into the castle. So that's how that come about. The kissing and the Blarney Stone. Something else very interesting, folks. Do you know that there are more people born of Irish descent in the United States than there are in Ireland? Is that quite amazing? And St. Patrick's Day is more popular here in the States than it is in Ireland. Here are some other fun facts regarding St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. Blue was the original color associated with St. Patrick, but of course it's been changed to green. St. Patrick's Day is the traditional day for planting peas, folks, even in the snow. So in 2 days, you all need to get out there and plant some peas. Cabbage seeds also. Cabbage seeds are often planted, and the old time farmers, they believe that to make them grow well, you need to plant them while wearing your pajamas. Very interesting, folks. So get out there, plant some peas, and make sure you have your pajamas on, and you plant you some cabbage seeds, and they'll grow fabulously. Now, next, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on here at the old Paulding Jail in Paulding, Ohio. Of course, we do have the escape games running this month, and this month's theme is the Big Top Circus. Actually, it's one of our more fun themes. We love this one. And during this escape game, players have 60 minutes to escape before they meet their demise. And I will tell you, the escape games are so much fun, and they help us fund the restoration efforts here at the Old Paulding County Jail. So, if you would like to learn more about the escape games or schedule an escape game session, just go to jailbreakcode9.com, and that's the number 9. At the website, you can read all about the themes, schedule game sessions, and even email the jailer if you have any further questions. Now, I also want to let everyone know that we do have an ad that is currently running on social media, and we are seeking volunteer paranormal investigators. We will be holding interviews May 11th at 6 p.m. at the Old Paulding County Jail, located at 112 South Williams Street in Paulding, Ohio. The chosen volunteers will have the opportunity to become full members of the 187 PI research team after successfully completing a probationary period. The right candidate should be within reasonable driving distance to the jail, and I would say within probably a 2-hour travel period. I drive there every week, and my drive is like 2.5 hours, and I probably say that would be probably the most that you'd want to drive in an ongoing basis. So within a 2-hour travel period, have reliable transportation, be available on weekends, and have a desire to learn more about the paranormal field. Experience is not necessary, but it is helpful. So anyone listening tonight that is interested, just go to our Facebook page. There is a link to register for the interview sessions. Just use the Facebook search feature, type in 187 PI, and we'll pop right up. And you can get yourself registered for an interview and maybe come join our team. We also have a full schedule of events for this spring, summer, and fall that are all happening here at the Old Paulding County Jail. We have many dates available for private paranormal investigations, as well as all the information you need to schedule a private investigation for you and your paranormal team. I will also mention that all the available dates for 2019 have been posted for the private investigations, and no other dates will be added to this list. So if you want to experience in a private setting some of the hauntings that we experience here on a daily basis, just go to 187pi.com and look at the available dates and book your private session. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on here at WBHM. Sunday nights from 8 to 10, we have Fate Magazine Radio with host Kat Hobson. Monday nights at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, we have Paranormal Pride Show with host Denise Pridemore. Wednesday nights At 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have Paranormal Experience